So if your dog has fixation issues, fixation can be on anything. We deal with a lot of dog aggression. You know, so dogs that are aggressive towards other dogs. And so if your dog has fixation issues, that's something that needs to change. Maybe your dog is fixated on tennis balls, or you know, the doorbell rings and the dog gets so fixated on that. Or you see he's starting to build that fixation, so she's working on recall. Now you notice she's not using a lot of leash, which is what a lot of people would do wrong, right? They would really pull on that leash because they really want to get the dog to come back and be with them. But if you do that, if you use a lot of leash when the dog's in that state of mind, you're gonna find the dog like elevating real quick, right? You know, the dog's you're gonna pull on that leash and the dog's gonna start barking that much more and freaking out more. So what we need to do is we need to teach the dog how to make the decision to come back. Now we're gonna guide that decision. You know, we use the e-collar and obedience commands and things like that. But here's the thing, dogs are disobedient for 3 reasons: focus problems, communication problems, and relationship problems. And so much of fixation, whether it's fixation on dogs, tennis balls, the door, whatever your dog gets fixated on, so much of that fixation is a focus problem, right? And so dogs do not multitask. And so if they're focused on me, they can't focus on the other dog, for example. And so here, you know, we're maintaining some nice, you know, his attitude is still good, he's still happy, but we're starting to see that he's taking the frustration he feels. There's other dogs on the side of that fence, by the way. That's what you're not seeing. He's got dog aggression problems. And so he's seeing these dogs on the other side of the fence, and he's wanting to fixate on them, and Sarah's saying, nope, you gotta pay attention to me. And he wants to fixate, nope, you gotta pay attention to me. And so as he's progressed with that, it gets to the point to where he's going a little bit into like an avoidance behavior, where he's like, all right, you know, I can't fight these other dogs, and so I'm just going to avoid the whole situation. And you know, if you've heard any of my videos ever, avoidance isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's not a good, necessarily long-term thing that we want, but avoidance tends to lead to acceptance. And so anyways, like I say, for fixations, whether it's aggression related or just like annoying related, because the dog gets so fixated on certain things that we don't want, going behind the dog and recalling to you is far more effective than what, like I say, there's 2 mistakes I see people make. They pull the dog away, which just enhances, you know, augments that that intensity that the dog is feeling. Or the second thing I see people do is they stand in front of the dog saying, well, if the dog can't see it, then, you know, he can't do anything. But the problem in standing in front of the dog is that the dog doesn't have to make any decisions. He's intense, isn't he? But yeah, so if we stand in front of the dog doesn't have to, you know, he's gonna try to look around you, and if he can't look around you, then the only thing that you're doing is you're blocking the dog's vision. You aren't really getting his mind, and that's what we want. And so by stepping back and calling him, we can get the dog's mind a whole lot better. And that's where, you know, there's still a little bit of a wrestling match going on here, but you know, very quickly she's starting to get some nice you know, kind of control, and he's wanting to pay attention. He's losing his mind a little bit, but there we go. You see as she turns, he's actually with her, engaged with her. This is an intense dog. And so he does everything in an intense way. You know, if he's aggressive, he's intensely aggressive. If he's excited, he's intensely excited and happy, and you know, he's a goofball. And so the head flapping that you're seeing is, we're doing e-collar training, and it's itchy for him. And that's what I want to tell people. You know, it's a little bit too itchy, so we'll probably lower the level just a snitch. But that's what I tell people. We don't want it to be like this painful, like, ah! You know, for the we want it to just be enough to grab the dog's attention, be slightly irritating, slightly annoying, things like that. And now that she's run him through it a bunch of times, you can visibly see that his body language is calming. There we go. Good boy.